Most people believe retirement is simple: work hard, save some money, stop working one day. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Millions of Americans did everything right and still can't afford to retire. They worked for decades. They trusted the system. They followed the rules. So why are so many people reaching their 60s and 70s terrified of running out of money? What if retirement planning was never about saving but about understanding a system that quietly shifted against you? And what if the biggest retirement mistake isn't what you're doing, but what you were never told? Today, we're going to answer a simple question. What is retirement planning really? And why does misunderstanding it cost people their freedom, their dignity, and sometimes their future? Stay with me because the answer didn't start with you. It started over 100 years ago. Setting the stage where the idea came from. To understand retirement planning, we have to go back to a time when it barely existed. In the early 1900s, retirement wasn't a life stage. People worked until they physically couldn't anymore. If you lived long enough to stop working, you relied on family or you fell into poverty. There were number 401 KS. No IRAs. No Social Security. Old age was risky, uncertain, and often brutal. Then something changed. Industrialization created factories, cities, and massive workforces. Employers noticed older workers struggled to keep up physically. Governments noticed rising poverty among the elderly. The solution seemed simple: create a system where people work, then retire, supported by pensions or government programs. That idea, well-intentioned and revolutionary, became the foundation of modern retirement planning. But embedded inside that system was an assumption that would eventually break everything. Origins: the birth of retirement planning. In 1935, during the Great Depression, the U.S. government introduced Social Security. The promise was powerful. You work, you pay into the system, you receive income for life when you're old. At the time, it worked. Why? Because life expectancy was short and the workforce was growing fast. Many people never lived long enough to collect benefits for very long. At the same time, large companies offered pensions guaranteed income for life after retirement. Together, these two pillars created a belief: if you work hard and stay loyal, retirement will take care of itself. For decades, that belief held. But beneath the surface, the math was changing. The rise. When the system expanded, after World War II, America experienced massive economic growth. Companies were profitable. Families were stable. The population was young. Retirement planning was mostly passive. Stay with one employer, collect a pension, add Social Security, retire comfortably. This era created a false sense of security. People didn't need to understand investing. They didn't need to manage risk. They didn't need to plan decades ahead. The system did it for them. But systems only work when assumptions stay true. And the assumptions were about to collapse. The breaking point when everything changed. Starting in the 1970s and accelerating into the 1980s and 90s, several things happened quietly, gradually, and fatally. First, people started living much longer. Retirement wasn't 5 to 10 years anymore. It became 20, 30, sometimes 40 years. Second, companies began eliminating pensions. Why guarantee lifetime income when markets were volatile and workers changed jobs? Instead, companies introduced a new idea: the 401k. At first, it sounded empowering. You control your money, you choose investments, you own your future. But the responsibility quietly shifted from institutions to individuals. And most people were never trained for that responsibility. Third, costs exploded. Healthcare, housing, and education rose faster than wages. Inflation silently eroded savings. The old retirement formula no longer worked. But no one announced the change. People kept playing by old rules in a new game. Fallout: the consequences we see today. Fast forward to today. Many Americans approach retirement with inadequate savings, heavy debt, overconfidence in Social Security, fear of market crashes. Some delay retirement. Others return to work. Many downsize not by choice but necessity. The result? Retirement planning is no longer optional, it's survival planning. And yet, most people still misunderstand what it actually is. Which leads to dangerous mistakes. Failed fixes: why saving more isn't enough. When people realize they're behind, the advice is usually simple: save more, work longer, cut expenses. But these are band-aids, not solutions. Because retirement planning isn't just about saving money. It's about managing time, managing risk, managing behavior, managing uncertainty. Markets rise and fall. Inflation eats purchasing power. Longevity risk grows every year you live longer. Without a plan, savings become guesses. And guesses fail under pressure. Modern parallels, the pattern repeats. Here's the shocking part. The same pattern keeps repeating. Every generation assumes, I'll figure it out later. The system will help. I'll earn more in the future, but later comes faster than expected. And systems don't adapt to individuals. Individuals must adapt to systems. Today, retirement planning means designing income, not just accounts. Planning for decades, not years, accepting uncertainty instead of ignoring it. Those who plan early gain flexibility. Those who delay lose options. The difference compounds just like interest. What retirement planning really is. So what is retirement planning? It's not a number. It's not an age. It's not a single account. Retirement planning is the process of making sure your future self can survive and live with dignity without earned income. It answers questions like, how long could my money last? What happens if markets crash? How do I turn savings into income? What risks could destroy my plan? It's not about predicting the future. It's about preparing for multiple futures. 3 clear takeaways. Takeaway number 1. Retirement planning is a system, not a goal. Saving money without a strategy is like collecting tools without knowing how to build. Takeaway number 2. Time is more powerful than income. Starting early with less often beats starting late with more. Takeaway number 3. The biggest risk isn't market loss, it's unplanned longevity. Running out of time hurts. Running out of money hurts more. Warning, open-ended thought. Here's the uncomfortable question to sit with. If you stopped working tomorrow, how long would your lifestyle survive? Not in theory, not in optimism. In reality, because retirement doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly through age, health, or circumstance. And the people who suffer most are rarely the lazy ones. They're the uninformed ones. Call to action? If this video changed how you think about retirement, even slightly, then the next step matters. Subscribe for clear, beginner-friendly breakdowns of retirement, investing, and long-term wealth. Like the video so more people can escape financial blind spots. And comment below, what age do you think you'll retire and why? Because the moment you start asking better questions is the moment real retirement planning begins.